still has. If you want to know about me, first you have to imagine. Imagine a huge 15 feet long king cobra right in front of your face, hissing and ready to strike at you. One drop of its lethal venom could kill you within 15 minutes. Or, as I believed, one drop of its lethal venom could save a life. What do I mean? Well, if you want to know, first you have to listen to my story. So get comfortable and get ready for the roller coaster of my life. It all started on December 30th, 1910 in Paterson, New Jersey, when I was born. I wasn't in the richest of all families, and we lived in a small apartment. My mom, Ottilia, and my father, Gustav, were both of German descent and were constantly running around the house after me. I was really energetic and crazy. I had a huge interest in snakes and loved them so much. I caught my first snake when I was 7 years old at a nearby canal. Then, when I was 15, I started taking out venom from my snakes, so when I held them, even if they bit me, they wouldn't hurt me. When I was 16, I chose to drop out of school because I was too interested in adventuring the world. Though I do regret it, during class I read a lot, so I got a lot of knowledge about astronomy and different sciences, including snakes. When I was 19, I joined a man at a roadside snake exhibit, and we went to Florida together. I became proficient in capturing many different kinds of snakes. I chose to go home and live with my mom again, and she had a small lakeside resort. There I added to the business a snake exhibit, of course. Then I met and eloped with my first wife, Anne. We moved to Florida so I could pursue my dream of opening a snake farm. After the Depression, she became pregnant and I lost my job. So we moved back to New Jersey and I learned piloting in planes, aviation. After 4 years, I was finally certified and I was working for Pan America Airlines. When the United States entered World War II, I was a flight engineer. I worked as a flight engineer. Those flights took me to India, South America, and Africa. I got to capture many different kinds of snakes, including my first cobra. In those days, there were no rules against it, but the crew member did not appreciate it. During those long flights, I had a long time to think about. I wanted to do something where I could help the world, but also involve my passion, which is, of course, snakes. Then it hit me. I would make something called the Miami Serpentarium. There I would risk my life by having snakes put in front of my face and try to take out their venom from them so I could create anti-venom to save others' lives. Anti-venom is where you get the snake's venom and you inject a little amount of it into a horse. Then, since the horses have a strong immunity, they kind of like a flu shot. They build up an immunity, and now if they get bitten by that snake, they'll be okay. You take out that blood, and then you inject it into humans, so even if they get bitten, it'll be okay. The New York Times said it was the best type of snake venom and anti-venom, so since of my food techniques and my caring techniques. I built up an immunity so strong by injecting myself every day, so that anybody else would die if they had this much. So I chose to fly around the world to save 21 different people, and I became an honorary citizen in Venezuela because I went deep into the jungle to save a young boy's life. We closed down the Serpentarium because the business wasn't going so well, because it was also an attraction for tourists in 1984. But 6 years later, we reopened it in Florida, Punta Gorda. There, it wasn't an attraction anymore, and it was just a laboratory. We became the sole supplier. I became the sole supplier of venom for 40 years. Me and a Miami doctor worked hard to create a venom serum that would save people who had Alzheimer and multiple scoliosis. Alzheimer is where your bones, like your joints in your finger and your toes, and it start to bend and it really hurts. Scoliosis is where your bones kind of stop working and you become all numb like this. So we created a snake serum and gave it to 6,000 different patients. They all said that it was very helpful and that it worked. But I still continue to influence doctors today, and doctors today are still trying to make a serum out of venom that can help towards cancer. I met my second wife, Clarita, and then my third, Nancy. I survived by 2 daughters, 3 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-great-grandchildren. I lived long enough to be a great-great-grandfather. Finally, when I was 100 years old, in 2011, on June 15th, I passed away. So I believe I connect to the central idea, which is heroes and role models express ideas, beliefs, and feelings that transform the world. Because my idea and belief was that even though someone who's so obsessed with snakes and just wants to do what they want can change the world, and I expressed that to people when I had the Serpentarium back in the 1900s, to all the audiences. I connect to the learner profiles and attitudes, integrity, because communicator, because I communicated to many people in the audience about how snakes can actually help us. I am principled because even though that snake serum and all the snake venom could have made me a lot of money, I didn't just do it for the money. And I proved that to fly around the world to save, individually, to save 21 different people, and became an honorary citizen of Venezuela. I was a risk taker because every day snakes were trying to bite me, and I just had to take out their venom. So I risked my life for others. I was confident because even though those snakes would bite me, I knew that I could do it, and I tried hard to get the venom. I was committed because every day I worked hard in the laboratory. Now I will show you my presentation. Okay, Bill Haas. That's me. I saved 21 lives and enhanced 6,000. The central idea is heroes and role models express ideas, beliefs, and feelings that transform the world. How do I connect to that? Well, I'll show you. This is what I did every day, and that's me. I would take the snakes, and I would get them, and I would take out their venom. That was one more life saved. Here is what the audience would look like, with elders, young people, and middle-aged people, all different races, looking and watching my work. That's how I express my ideas to many. Here is me getting honored by the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Venom Response Unit, long word, and I'm sitting down there, and they're honoring me because they are the people who go to people who just got bitten by snakes and emergency, and they use the antivenom to save them, and they use mine because I was the sole supplier for 40 years. This is what the Miami Serpentarium looked like, and this is where I created my antivenom. This is me where I mixed the venom, and this is when I was making the venom serum, and when I was younger. So this is my bibliography. So I watched a video, and I sent an email to this and there was a New York Times article on me, and well, actually this isn't, but and the Miami Serpentarium's website and Victims of Venom by PBS News. Thank you for listening.
There we go. Hands in the air, ready to take questions, Mr. Bill Haas.
How did you die? Oh, I died when I was 100 years old. 100 years old because of. Did you get bitten by a snake? No, because just of old age. You know?
What do you mean the last
one and in?
Oh, enhanced means like helped because, like I said, 6,000 people, yeah, who had Alzheimer, arthritis and scoliosis because we injected the snake serum, like which means like mixture, like potion kind of thing, into them, which helped towards their sickness. Kenan?
So you said you injected yourself with so many
Yeah.
things, and most people would die if they did that?
Because first, so I put in small amounts, and then I built up an immunity and gradually be able to put more and more and more. So then it was. Miss Allison?
I loved your presentations. Fabulous.
Thank you.
I've just got a question. So you get a phone call. There's someone who's been bitten by a snake in Venezuela, right?
Mhm.
And so, and do you then fly in an aeroplane to Venezuela with your anti-venom kit? Or how does that work?
I was like on a trip, like to save people, and then I was in Venezuela, and then someone got bitten by the snake, so then I went into the jungle to save them.
And how long would it take from being bitten to someone actually dying? I mean, do you have to get there really, really quickly?
Yeah, because it depends on the certain type of snake. For example, if it's a king cobra, it would be like 15 minutes, but if it's a Thai snake, it would be 30 minutes. But if it's just a snake with like some venom, maybe if you don't get treatment, then you could die within like a couple hours. But it really depends on the strength of the snake.
Thank you.
Mr. Mason?
How did Amillia find out about you?
Change. Okay, so I was looking through with mom, and I was first going to do this man who was like on a TV show or something, but then it said like people also search for, because I wanted to find like other things too, and then he came up and then I really liked it, so I chose him.
Any other questions going forward? Did you have any comments or questions for Bill? Might be you next year doing something like this. I hope you've got some tips that you can use for next year, parents. Otherwise, we'll get everybody back up.
Excellent
Fran?
job of talking about how you tied to all the different characteristics of the learner profile. That was very good.
And I love your presentation. That's a really, really good way of explaining and showing your thinking and your ideas. Did it take long to make that presentation?
No, it's actually really easy. You just choose the outline, like I chose like the footsteps kind of thing, and then I just inserted pictures and then type the captions. So yeah, it's not too hard. Yeah.
Very effective. Yeah, grade 4s. Might be able to do something like that next year.
Thank you very